Well, today I'll be continuing with my schedule discussion and point spread prediction videos. Mm, mm, And today I'll be doing the uh, cheaters, mm, Michigan. So, uh, uh, to me, it's pretty obvious that mm, uh, Michigan's not going to be uh, as good as they were this last season, and uh, to me, they're going to have to add a lot of transfers this spring to mm, have any chance of being anywhere close to as good as they were uh, mm, uh, last season. Right now, they don't have a quarterback that's uh, proven or even experienced, and the same goes for the wide receiver position. And uh, before they had uh, a quarterback that could manage the game well, wasn't a great quarterback, but was a good game manager. And they didn't have any great receivers, but they had decent ones that could catch it uh, most of the time when they needed them to. And they don't have that right now. At least it doesn't look like it. And defensively, they had one of the best defenses mm, ever uh, in college football history last season. So, no doubt they're going to uh, fall off some on defense, but they should still be pretty good. Uh, so they should still have a good team. Mm, And mm, so Michigan's schedule on here doesn't look to be too hard for them, but it, it's obviously tougher than their schedule was last season. Michigan's schedule last year was so easy. They only just had two games on their schedule that were going to be any problem really for them. And that doesn't mean that uh, Michigan wasn't the best team last year, because they were. You can be the best team and play an easy schedule. Uh, so, mm, first of all, their out of conference schedule it is a whole lot tougher this year. The last few years, Michigan's just scheduled three given wins, and this year they've got two of those: Fresno State and Arkansas State. But then in the middle of those, they've got the big game against Texas, which that's going to be a really tough game for them. Uh, it's going to be uh, uh, one of the biggest games of this coming season, and uh, in my opinion, it is the biggest non-conference game this season. There are several in the first 2 weeks that are pretty big, but this one I'd say is the biggest. Mm, but the good news with that is they do get to play Texas at home, so that will help their chances. Uh, and some good news is they don't have to play Penn State this time. Uh, and they've got games against USC and on the road at Washington that could be kind of tough. Mm, mm, and then they've got the big one against Oregon. But the good news is they get that one at home, so uh, they'll have a good chance. And then the toughest one of all to me will be at the end there, the rivalry game uh, on the road at Ohio State. And mm, they uh, get their first week off at not really a terrible time, not a great time to have it, but there are two road games in a row, Washington and Illinois. Uh, mm, so they get a week off in between those two. So it is nice to have a week off in between playing two road games. But of course, Illinois, let's be honest, they're not a very good team, and it's not a very tough place to play. Mm, And mm, their second week off comes after a road game against Indiana, and before a home game against Northwestern. That's not really a good time to have their other week off because playing at Indiana, that's not hard at all. Mm, And then Northwestern, they may be decent again, but they're not going to be near Michigan. Uh, and it's they get that game at home, so that could have been better than it is for Michigan. So uh, now I'll move on to the prediction. So if you haven't seen how my point spread scale works, go back and watch my Ohio State video where I explain it. You can better understand how it works. Uh, mm, but in the green here, I see two games where Michigan will be favored by 20 or more points, a blowout. Those are Fresno State and Arkansas State. Mm, mm, and I see five games on here, the ones that are in the blue, where I think Michigan will be favored by 10 to 19 points, so not close, but not a blowout spread. Those are Minnesota, Illinois, Michigan State, Indiana, and Northwestern. And I see two games on here where I think that Michigan will be favored by about a touchdown, 6 to 9 points. So those are USC and uh, Washington. Mm, And then I see one game on here where I think Michigan will be about a touchdown underdog, and that's Ohio State. Mm, And then I see two toss-up games here in the black, Texas and Oregon, which the toss-up means that there won't be a favorite. Mm, mm. So, mm, Fresno State is one of the better non-power four teams. They're a decent team from the Mountain West Conference, so that probably won't be like a 40-point spread. It'll probably be like a 28-point spread, but uh, it's one that Michigan should have no problem winning. Mm, And then Arkansas State, they'll be favored in that one by 40 something or even more. They should beat them like uh, 70 to nothing. Mm, mm. And mm, uh, Minnesota, I would say right now that Michigan would probably be favored by about 14 points, two touchdowns. Mm, mm, mm. And Illinois, uh, mm, even on the road, I would say that Michigan would probably right now still be favored by about 14 points. Mm, and Michigan State, I know it's an in-state rival, but it's at home, and uh, mm, Michigan State's uh, just nowhere near Michigan right now on how good they are. So I'd expect Michigan to be about a 18-point favorite maybe in that one. Uh, and then Indiana on the road, even they should be like a 17 or 18-point favorite in that game. Mm. Then Northwestern, uh, probably a Michigan would be favored by a couple of touchdowns, about 14 points. Mm, and the Southern Cal, uh, mm, right now, uh, mm, I'd say that Michigan would probably be about a 6-point favorite in that game. Uh, mm, because Southern Cal I think is probably going to be uh, back in the top 25, probably the top 20 this season. Uh, mm, I think their defense will be uh, at least a little bit better. Mm, And Washington, uh, you know, that's who they just beat in the national championship by 3 touchdowns. So uh, even on the road, I do think that Michigan will still probably be about a 7 point favorite in that one, because Washington, uh, they have a, a whole lot of questionable things about their team too. Like they lost their coach, like Michigan did, and also like Michigan, they lost a whole bunch of good players. Mm, and mm, right now, uh, I would say that probably Michigan would be about a 6 point underdog against Ohio State because, like I said in the Ohio State video, I know Michigan has done well against them the last several years, mm, but Ohio State just looks like they've got a better roster right now than Michigan does. Not that that can't change, but uh, right now I have to say that Ohio State will be a favorite in that one. Mm, And then Texas, uh, I have it as a toss up, really, just because it's at Michigan, and it is really tough to uh, win games at Michigan. Mm, Right now, though, Texas looks to me like mm, probably a better team than Michigan, and with it being so early in the year, uh, mm, if Michigan doesn't add transfers this spring, they're going to have a inexperienced team for the most part, playing against a possible top five team, and that could be bad for them. Mm. And then Oregon, like Texas, I feel like is a better team right now than Michigan is, but it's at Michigan, so uh, mm, I do think that uh, that would have to be a toss up right now. Mm. So that will be it with this video, and please subscribe, and thanks for watching another video, and I'll make another one of these very soon.